Yesterday, Scott Frost talked about the fact that this team needs to be very efficient offensively because Stanford does have such a high time of possession holding the ball. How do you guys make sure that you can optimize the time when you have the ball?
Well, just, urgency, attention to detail. I think they're all the things that you talk about regardless of the opponent. But you look, you just look last week. I think Colorado had 50-something plays. Week before they had 100-something plays. And so just making the most of your opportunities, limiting the self-inflicted things, certainly turnovers first and foremost, penalties, drops, all those kind of things. They just are that much more magnified if the possessions are limited.
Jay Allen, go back to right.
How are you going to go about slowing down Christian McCaffrey?
I think you should take a week off. That would be good. I think keep him healthy for the stretch run. No, he's phenomenal. I think he and Kevin Hogan play off of each other so well. His ability to play everywhere, play every position, be the tailback and have, Rector or one of the other guys be the deep threat, or him go outside and get a one-on-one matchup or get in space, run reverses, do all the things that he's done, be a great returner, and then have a quarterback that can get it all done. Very experienced front. I was just saying on the conference call, it feels like Kyle Murphy's been there for 10 years, starting at left tackle. And so they're just a very efficient veteran group with a ton of playmakers.
Something up here. Andrew?
What's your confidence in Aiden Schneider? He's obviously having a terrific year, 94% rate. Do you have any hesitation for how far back you'd use a guy like that?
Zero hesitation, and now you're talking about a no-hitter. So that's not, you can't. I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I don't even talk to him. It's like avoidance. I think I said good kick the other day or something, something along those lines. But yeah, knock on wood, he's been very solid. Had a couple of leaks in protection last week of guys just not, again, very, very much akin to our problems in punt. Nothing crazy that they did, just technically not sound by us. And I know Stanford's watching that film too.
Mark, Stanford was 8-5 last year. This year doesn't look like they've changed a ton, but they're back to being really good. Any lesson there in terms of not doing anything drastic or not changing what you do just because you hit a little adversity?
Well, I think there's there's a million lessons in that, and whether it's offensively, it's almost everybody back. I don't know if it's not 100% obviously, but a ton of fifth-year players at Stanford. They do the not red shirt, but he's a red shirt kind of fifth-year terms. All those fifth-year guys, got a graduate transfer on defense, couple fifth-year guys, all the veteran guys over there. So special teams is a bunch of the same guys just playing a little bit cleaner, a little bit healthier, maybe, a little bit more confident at quarterback. Defensively, they're playing extremely well, and just kind of fitting some new faces into the stuff they've done before, and then also playing to the strengths of a little bit versatile personnel, the way that they're playing with at sometimes two true defensive linemen, and then fitting everybody else into a great role, into their defense. It has been really good for a long time.
Where we go? Aaron? I'm sorry. Lots of words.
After the Arizona State game, when you guys defensively had given up the most yards ever, I think a lot of people thought that Jared Goff and Cal would have a lot of success against you guys in the pass game, but obviously you guys were able to slow him down. Were you even a little bit surprised at how well you guys played on defense against Cal, and how much did you guys improve in that game?
Well, I think we've improved a ton. I think that the two animals that were faced were completely different. Arizona State was very committed to the run-read game with the quarterback element, and, similar to Stanford, that Stanford has that element much more so maybe than Cal. But yeah, anytime you're facing a great quarterback and a bunch of talent at receiver, you got to be on top of your game. We tackled better, made more plays on the ball, and we just need to keep improving, keep working. And the guys have worked to that end this week in a different game plan scenario.
Jay Allen to the right.
it's looking like the Pac-12 is not going to get someone a team into the playoffs, especially if you beat Stanford. I mean, obviously you want to beat them, but how much does that hurt the conference? I
really like the conference, but we're not throwing the game.
No, I understand that. But just big picture, I mean, how bad is that for the conference, or is it bad not to have a team in the playoff?
Well, it's certainly unfortunate given the caliber of the conference, and again, we can go down the whole scheduling and non-conference and number of games plus the championship game, all those things. We're set up to have this happen. You know, the way that the Pac-12 schedule is set up, it is the worst. Putting itself in the worst possible situation to have that happen. And that's just a fact. You know, it's not good, bad, indifferent. It's a fact. And so until that's addressed, we're in that situation. I think the conference is fantastic, putting up against anybody, certainly top to bottom. And week in and week out, Sonny Dykes and I were talking about that before the game. It's crazy. I mean, even the teams that are, supposed to take care of so-and-so and so-and-so wins. And it's amazing.
Andrew?
Going back a couple questions, you talked about the different animals between Cal and Arizona State. Stanford is obviously its own kind of beast. How do you simulate their kind of 7-8 offensive line and just the way they play when obviously how you guys structure your style of play is very different? Yeah,
it's we tape a couple of our scout team guys together and get them in there, and they're one of their linemen. No, it's hard. That and that's partially why they do what they do, right? Of getting seven high quality scout team offensive linemen, that's hard. And our guys are working their tails off, but to simulate that and then do some of the movement stuff with either a big tight end or an offensive lineman with an eligible number, all those things, to identify it, line up against it, and then play with great leverage and all those things, gap integrity, that's hard. And but then they have the ability to be in empty. They have the ability to be in an 11 personnel game the whole game. And so you have to prepare for everything, be sound against everything, and go.
Nicole?
Do you have a good mix of young players and then also veteran players that can obviously remember the sting of the defeat against Stanford over the past couple of years? And wondering can you talk a little bit about the morale moving into this game on the team?
Well, I think the morale's really good. I think we've had great energy. I think, we're confident for the right reasons, but we're also improving and seeking to compete and get better for the right reasons. Up until this last game, I thought, like we talked about the other night, I thought our special teams have been almost elite in some areas. And then we were unacceptable in really every area except for the kicking game. Almost inexplicably so. And so that's one of those things where you flip on the film and it just makes absolutely no sense of why, this guy did what he did and this guy did what he did. But it's also, again, very, very correctable, very correctable. But, like our morale and like our work ethic and our guys will definitely be, excited to compete.
Kristen?
Stanford did lose 9 defensive starters last year, but they still have a strong front 7. Going to be kind of run the ball like you guys did against Cal, especially with 4 different backs making big plays. So how important is the passing game then against the Cardinal?
Well, you have to be able to do both. And that's the secret to everything is being able to run the ball or have the appearance of being able to run the ball. I think our guys have garnered that reputation for the last several years. And certainly with, as you said, Royce and those guys that, we have total confidence in that, with total confidence in our offensive line. And it's just a matter kind of identifying their look, which can be very multiple. They do a great job of changing their fronts, changing their coverage, the opponent's perceived strengths and weaknesses. And so that's a huge challenge.
Joe.
Coach Frost said that this week they're going to have to you guys have to learn how to play with an underdog mentality. Is that a kind of a role that you guys are embracing against Stanford?
I don't know. Maybe some guys are. I think going back to last, I think it's about confidence. It's about improvement. It's about competing. And certainly us and Stanford have had a ton of success and a bunch of great matchups and a bunch of great battles. And, if you aren't excited for that, then that's probably a problem to begin with. And the key is being excited to prepare, and our guys thus far have done that well.
Matt Freeman in the back.
With Stanford's desire sometimes to go with 7 offensive linemen and have those 15 play, like 9-minute drives, how important is it for your depth in the front 7 to be able to not just use your starters, but go sometimes 2 or 3 deep there?
It's important, but again, that's one of those things. It's hard. You know, it's easier said than done. Hey, roll in your next 5 defensive linemen. You know, most teams don't have 10 deep, and that's just again a byproduct of what they do. Is wear you down in a different way. It's mental, it's physical, of bleeding the play clock, of doing all those things, and you know, I know the offensive guys get a little antsy, and then want to go out and make it all up on one play, and you can't do that either. It might happen, but you need to do it, systematically. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just a different challenge.
Preston on the left.
Thank you guys. 10-point underdogs. At least that's what I've seen. A couple early lines. I don't know how much you pay attention to that, but does it feel like you're in a spoiler role this week? Is that how you guys are approaching this game at all?
I haven't heard or talked about any type of spoiler role. We're attacking with total confidence, total commitment, total belief from all angles, and we're preparing to play Stanford, and we're preparing to improve and compete.
Andrew.
You guys hopeful at all, optimistic for the return of Chris Cisse? He's kind of transitioned from the scooter to the walking shoes. I wasn't sure if you're fairly optimistic for the next 3-4 weeks you could maybe get him back.
Scooter to the walking shoe. By the way, the scooter business, that's my new business I want to be in. The scooter and the boot. Whoever makes those, I want stock. No idea. That he's one of those guys that I don't know what I don't even want to define it. I would say not optimistic, but that's probably, selling it short. But I don't know. I literally do not know. Yeah.
The Stanford's only lost Northwestern. Does that stand out to you on the film as a total anomaly, or are there things you can take from that maybe you can attack? Huge anomaly. And it's one of those things that you just never, you never know why. Either it's, our team or somebody else's team, every week across the country, you look at a score and, everybody's like, how did that happen? And that again is the great thing about college football, the crazy thing about college football, and the reality of college football. But also Northwestern is really good, and so there's no magic formula. If you flip on that tape and go, here's the answer. Unfortunately, try to call fits and try to get the answer.
Matt Freeman.
Shot in the dark, maybe. You announced 3 guys that you signed to financial aid agreements last night. Is there anything you can say about those 3 guys? And then secondly, does that change any way you handle their recruitment? When that guy signs a financial aid agreement, does that change anything?
It is our policy at the University of Oregon to not comment on mid-year transfers until they're here. So I'm trying to invent my own fine print. It was a good shot in the dark. It's an excellent shot in the dark.
Anything else? Oh,
Yeah.
where? Jay?
Very excited.
I just said, it's one last question about the playoff. Would you be in favor of expanding it to 8?
Well, I would be in favor and said this before, I would be in favor of that. That's easy. I mean, tomorrow you could say, hey guys, this year we're doing 16 teams and you just have a few more games. That's the easy part. I think the harder, more meaningful part is to make it equitable to get there. So whether obviously that's conference realignment, those are TV contracts, there's a lot of, what's the phrase, heavy lifting to get to that point, which is, there's a couple conferences that aren't going to budge. And so I think that needs to be addressed before you open it up more. But one guy's opinion.
Kristen?
Hogan, a guy you've faced for a long time now. How have you seen him progress from, year 1 to now?
He's just really good. I mean, he's total command. This year he's become even kind of that much more of a versatile runner, physical runner. He's always kind of been the late pull on a power play, or a full cell play action keep, kind of boot action, but totally integrated in as a power runner, as a conventional quarterback runner, if that phrase exists, and then just total command of their passing game, and really guys that he's thrown it, really good guys that he's thrown it to. So total complementary thing going on there. They've got it going on right now. They're hot.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you.